Here's how I take $0 to $40,000 trading all my A plus entry model. First thing first, on this investor account, I'll be spamming because I want this guy to be rich. And as I'm spamming here, I'm spamming on my own account there. So as I'm trading here, I'm trading on my account and I'm trading for other investors too. So if you want to get that same result, DM me. And then I get my start and finish point. But if you don't get your start and finish point without some other confirmation, you will lose. Like if you look at that point there, you can see that that point there was backing up my entry, and my entry was at literally the tip of those two consolidation, above and below consolidation. So you want to back up your entry, your start and finish point with at least 3 confirmation or 3 consolidation, and that's when you want to go to HTF time frame. And also make sure your entry is at the volume point. That candle there is the volume point. The weak part is just the rejection, but that candle there and those other candles by the side, that's where the volume is in the market. Very well, that's it. And most people might look at this stuff as garbage, but if you really want to flip your account, you need to make sure all these steps are fulfilled. Like if you look at that point there, you can see price has already liquidated the low of that volume point, and price is already reversing. So basically, as price is reversing to the volume point, it is going to like go below very fast, considering the fact that there's more confluence, which is consolidation below. And you can see that this structure that has been happening, price has been following this structure. You can see consolidation drop, and it has been following this structure for a long time. That's the trick. And then how you get the place to literally enter at is that you want to look for more volume or zone in the market, or to back up your zone. And if you look at this point there were 3 bearish candles. Let me mark it out. There was 1, there was 2, and there was 3. So that's the 3 candle formation. And whenever there's a 3 candle formation, there is will pull back, which is that buy move that entered there. And you can see that a lot of people tried to sold at this volume point. They got liquidated 2 times because they were not at the optimal point of that 3 candlestick formation. And if you go to the left, you see another sign of this candlestick formation happening or working. You can see there was 1, 2, 3 candlestick formation, and then after those 3 bearish candle form, there was a bullish candle, and then after that bullish candle there was another bearish candle. But to see this stuff better, you can see another one happened there, 1, 2, 3, and then there was a bullish candle, and then after those bullish candle were created fully, there was bearish candle. That's literally it. Bullish candle or 3 candlestick formation, then bullish candle, and then a bearish candle. That's a pattern that you want to exploit. And if you look at this point here on 15-minute time frame, you can see that price is creating equal lows at that point here, which is serving as liquidity points there. And there's also a big problem here, because in this point here, you can see that there was something like a trend line there, which price is retesting on. But don't panic, because the confirmation on HTF time frame is more than the confirmation on lower time frame, because there's still more liquidity below on 5-minute time frame, and there's even liquidity on 15-minute time frame, and there's even more liquidity on higher time frame. So this confirmation or this setup is totally invalidated due to all the previous strong confirmation that we had in the past. Or let's just say on higher time frame. That's why when you are doing top down analysis or trading candlestick, you need to go to the top to verify or to confirm every single lower time frame confirmation, because you might see like 3 contradictions on lower time frame, but on higher time frame you will see like 5 contradictions. Your goal is to follow the ones with more winning probabilities, or with more winning confirmations, or with more strength, because some confirmation have much more relevance in the market than some. So you need to take all this in mind. But before fully committing to that sell, you need to chop the present buy, because that does not mean that those previous confirmation that is giving you buy move is not relevant, because those stuff are still relevant. But there is high long-term structure and short-term structure, and you need to be able to trade and differentiate when each of them is relevant, because that long-term structure is going to hold at the end of the day. But that does not show you that you cannot, or that does not mean that you cannot scalp that short-term structure, because if you look at that point there, you will see there is a lot of volume or consolidation around this point there, and where there's a lot of consolidation, there's a lot of liquidity around that point there. And if you look at that point there, you can see that price was literally respecting 50% of that demand zone there. That's it. This is a short-term structure, and for this short-term structure, you can see that there was a breakout of that trend line there. And when there's a breakout of a trend line, at any moment in time, price would spike up and clear all those liquidity at those highs there. And maybe, or it's not even maybe, and definitely it's going to come down to take out that low, because there's liquidity below also. And then if we go to 1 minute time frame, how do you get entries to like hold price or hold your buy position? Basically, what you want to do is that you want to either use liquidity graph to validate your entry. You can see price took out those liquidity, those early buyers at that point there, at that swing low. Or you can use the confluence of that equal high liquidity at the top there as more confluence for your buy entry, and even add more position if your broker allows you to do so. But basically, at this point in time, I don't think I'll be able to add more position. If you look at that point there, you can see how that spike was, very aggressively. And at this moment in time, you want to close very fast, because this is a short-term trade. It is not a swing trade or the likes of that. And if you are going to still capitalize off this buy entry, you don't want to go in anyhow, guy. You need to make sure you enter strategically at a breakout there. You can see I was literally just continuing the structure, break, retest, break, retest, because I understand that this buy is going to still run at least 10 people, 20 people, and if you can leverage every single people of it, you'll be able to make free funds before the sales kicking up, before we go to gold, because gold is where the real money is going to be printed. Like if I show you one setup of gold, dude, if you see the kind of money we rack on just one setup on gold like this, it will be crazy. But you need to build an account with all this small setup to a point that will be able to withstand gold this thing. So if you look at that point, they say price is already giving us some rejection sign, and this is when it's still gonna be over for you, man, and you have to like ease up with the stacking. That's it. If the thing is going bullish, like bullish, then you can just be going crazy with the stacking. But when you are seeing some slight rejection and some slight opposition in the market, you want to ease up on that stacking. That's it too. Most of us, we just stick to strategy, but the main thing, the management issue, those kind of stuff is not something you teach easily. Honestly speaking, you need to know when to ease up with the stacking, and you can see that I eased up with the stacking around that point there, and I was able to get almost 20 times, or let's just say 17 or 15 times my profit on this one trade. And that was when I went to gold. You can see how gold was moving very, very aggressively. And to break down the setup I used here, basically for this gold setup, you need to be very, very strategic, because gold is not a joke at all. You need to make sure you use everything I say in this video, and the first confirmation has to be very, very strong, which is heads and shoulders. This is one of the strongest confirmation you can use when trading, because this is good. And then on H4 time frame, you need to be back it up with one breaker block like this, one strong breaker block. You can see that breaker block caused the rejection before, and then it's coming again to give us one like 3 candlestick pattern. And whenever this candlestick pattern occur, there is always a reversal. You can see I'm using very, very strong confirmation, and I'm pairing them, because if I don't use all this confirmation and I go in, I'll be liquidated like all these guys there. You can see they were trying to sell at this point there, they got liquidated, try to sell again, they got liquidated. And this is early sellers. That's why you need to know the best place to sell at, and that's why lower time frame confirmation is also good, because if you know what's going to happen, you don't know exactly where to enter at, you'll be liquidated, and it's not going to be funny. This kind of thing can blow your account when you have already made some profits, like literally eradicate all your profit. And one thing you need to look for is liquidity. That is literally the lifeblood of lower time frame confirmation. And then fair value gap or imbalance, that's another one, and it has to be unmitigated. If it's mitigated, it does not work. It's not going to work. And then liquidity lows, that's it. That's the third thing on lower time frame. And when you have gotten down, you cannot think of spamming small entries, but there's still more, which is liquidity grab. It has to liquidate the high and then give you a reversal. That's it. Liquidation, and then create a high, and then create another low. It is like a heads and shoulders pattern but on lower time frame. And then on 1 minute time frame, there should be a lot of consolidation, or there should be a lot of build up of orders here. You can see price was building up orders around that point here, and this is a sign that there's a lot of volume, and more volume is going to kick in the market, and that's what allowed that spikes, that my move, that my profits to start spiking immediately. And when it starts spiking, that was when I went in again. If it's spiking and you're not going in, dude, you'll never get to my result. That's why the money you're using to trade, you need to give a professional to manage this for you, because you can see my account went to $2 in less than 1 second. So you can see that's how fast you lose your account if you don't know what you're doing. It went from $17 to $2. You can rewind the video, you will see it. Nothing changed. That's to show you shake is happening here in the market. That was when I know that this thing is going to liquidate my money. I'm not playing, I swear. That was when I close very fast. Me, I don't even want to risk it. You close very fast, or you risk that money again. So now I'm already down from $17 to $2. So what do I have to lose? Dude, I don't have anything to lose anymore, because it's not my account, it's literally an investor account, and I can just fund it again and try again. That's why most of my videos takes a lot of time before I finish them, because I go again when I lose, and it's not the investor that will fund the distance, but I'll fund the money again, because I have a lot of money to what's $2, $30, I want anyway. So I closed, and then on the next trade I spotted a good entry for another sell, because mind you, from the beginning of this video my total buyers on GBP/USD was sell. So on go to it is sell, because I've already done my top down analysis, and I know for a fact that this stuff is going to drop. That was how I was spamming. Look at how I was spamming. Like, I was spamming without fear, because my confirmation is mad. And if you want to have this kind of confirmation, it's going to take a lot of experience or confidence. If you're going to have this kind of confidence, it's going to take a lot of experience. You need to know what you're doing. I need to make sure all the strategy I'm teaching you are using every single one of them. Like, go to your note and don't be adding all of them. Breaker block plus kiniko plus kiniko. That was one to make you rich. Like, look at that point there was liquidity around that point there on 30-minute time frame. And then if we go to 15-minute time frame, I was adding more position because I saw something sweet on 5-minute time frame. You can see I was literally adding position around that fair value gap side there. You can see there was space around that point there, and there was even liquidity below. So my entry was literally at that fair value gap there, or that imbalance there. So basically I was protecting my entries with all this kind of breakout and all those block around that point there, because those blocks are orders, those candlesticks are orders, and for price to liquidate a candlestick, dude, it's not going to be easy, especially if those candlesticks are HTF candlesticks. So you want to use those candlesticks or any candlestick to guide or shield all your confirmation or all your entries. The more the better. That's why consolidation serve as good support and resistance zone, or whenever they have a breakout it runs, because there's a lot of liquidity and there's something shielding your entry or shielding price from going the opposite direction. So I was adding more position, my balance was reducing, but my profit was increasing. And it got to a point that I knew that, man, I need to close this trade and go again. You close, you risk all your trades again. You close again, you risk all your trades again. That means if you close at $100, you risk all the $100. You close at $500, you risk all the $500. You close at $1,000, you risk all the $1,000. Rather than when you are at $100 equity and then your profit is at $500, you will now be adding more position. Small reversal like this, all your money is gone. But if you are closing and going again, is another thing entirely, because now you can choose to reduce your risk and the likes of that, and it's just different. So I closed at this point in time, and then I went to good again, and I was even slamming another entry again, another sell entry. Why? Because I still have more confirmation. If you look at that point, the price was taking out highs, but it failed to displace above this present high. That's to show that the volume is reducing, And when volume is reducing on a bullish market, what's going to happen? Sales is going to kick in, and what you want to do is that you want to ride all those sales, and if possible pair it with candlesticks, which is those candlesticks there. I use those candlesticks to like shield my entries and protect it from retracement and pullback. That will serve as a shield. If a retracement is about to happen, that's going to like stop it from running deeper. But also, if you look at that point there, you can see I was protecting it with a supply zone also, and that's the 15-minute supply zone. As when it's a 1-minute supply zone now, then you can see nothing's going to happen. But this is a 15-minute supply zone, and even a 5-minute supply zone was present, and not one, literally two. And on 1-minute time frame, you can see price was also getting shielded by another supply zone there, and that was what allowed the rejection to happen. But that's not, there's still more, because if you look at this point here, price was literally going against another low there, and when it's going against a low and it's about to break out, what do? You add more position. You add more position because you have a very, very strong confirmation. So if you reach a low that is almost breaking out, you add. Reach another low, is almost breaking out, you add. Reach another low, almost breaking out, you add. That's how you win. And basically for some time you'll be in loss, but that's okay. Before the light, there is always a darkness. The vibe. And so basically you can see there was no breakout happening yet, and I was like, oh my god. But with experience, this gets easier, because at the end of the day, you can see I was racking a lot at this point in time. You can see how aggressive. It's just one candle that is literally doing all this. Imagine. And this all happened in less than 15 minutes. So at this moment in time, you want to close. And for the next trade, I was buying. The main reason why I buy is because the trend was switching, or let's just say the confidence was switching, and everything from the structure started aligning and showing me signs of bullish momentum returning. Like if you look at this point, the price is expect 50% of that order block. And then if you look at this point again, there was a liquidity grab around this point here. And then if you look again, you will see that price is already giving us small structures, and these structures that I'm seeing like this is some sign of micro sign that the trend is about to go very like this kind of bullish momentum that is coming like this is going to be so hot. So first and first, I closed all this position first, because you need to bank all your profits or you lose everything. You don't want to like go in from your profit and then be adding more positions. You need to close first and then go again, risking 100%, 20%, 10%, depending on your risk appetite. Because if you don't do, you'll be rated out of existence by the market movers. They will not even recognize your order, and you will miss out on big moves. So number one, trap your entry with consolidation, and then from the 1 day time frame, go to lower time frame and make sure there is no opposition on 15-minute time frame. And dude, that spike was crazy. Like, dude, please don't forget to add more position, or else you are gonna miss out on this. And that's how I change this investor life. So if you want the same results, click link in description, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.